Hi, this is Sean King from Your Mac Life. We're going to be at Macworld Expo 2010 in San Francisco all next week, thanks to our friends at MacSpeech at MacSpeech.com, makers of premier speech recognition solutions for the Macintosh. You can see a live demo at www.MacSpeech.com. And also to 12 South, makers of the Book, a one-of-a-kind hardback leather case designed exclusively for your MacBook and MacBook Pro. You can check it out at www.12south.com. What to expect at next week's Macworld Expo? Well, one of the things you can expect is a smaller show. IDG expects fewer than 250 exhibitors at this year's Expo. That's down from almost 500 in 2009. Therefore, you can expect fewer people. Apple is an undoubted draw to Macworld Expo. As I've said in the show, Macworld Expo's Apple booth has always been a black hole of attention. It draws people in, it draws vendors to the show. So without Apple there'll be fewer vendors who are drawn to the gravity pull of Apple. And the economy still hasn't fully recovered. Hopefully we've bottomed out, but there's still a lot of folks who just do not have the wherewithal, the means, the money to travel to Macworld Expo in San Francisco for a week. You can expect fewer events. With fewer vendors come fewer announcements, fewer parties, and fewer get-togethers. Will there be less coverage due to fewer press attending? Obviously, the major news media, the CBSs, the NBCs, the ABCs, won't be descending on the Moscone Center to hear the latest news from Apple on the show floor. Will fewer companies mean the press, whose attention is usually focused on Apple, will they now search out those other stories that always play out on the Expo show floor? And regardless of whether or not Apple, Adobe, Microsoft et al., or anyone else attends Macworld Expo, this is still, in my opinion, the most important Macworld Expo ever. Ever. If this Macworld Expo is perceived by IDG World Expo, and only their perceptions matter in this regard, if they perceive it as a success, there will be another one. If they perceive it as not a success, there probably won't be another one. Simple as that. But to create that success requires a lot of work, intentionally or not, by a large, disparate group of people. There has to be enough vendors to sustain the show floor. There have to be enough show goers to make that show floor attractive to vendors. There have to be enough good quality speakers to make the conference track viable. And there have to be enough conference attendees to make the conference track interesting. There has to be enough stories for the media who attend to talk about and write about with regards to the Expo. And finally, there has to be a location to hold the event that's attractive to all involved. No offense, but Macworld Des Moines wouldn't be a success. Now, all of the above is not supposition or opinion. You can look to every other Expo, Comdex, conference that's been canceled. If the conditions above are not met, those shows close down. IDG World Expo is the gatekeeper of Macworld Expo. They put it on and make all the arrangements. They do the heavy lifting to create the show. But they own the brand, not the show. The people who attend own the show. With attendance from the media, from vendors, from speakers, from showgoers, the single most crucial factor in the success or failure of an expo, the next week will be very interesting. For example, if there are 50% fewer vendors, will there be 50% fewer attendees? IDG reports total attendance last year, the 2009 Expo, is a tick over 34,000 people. That includes everybody. That includes showgoers, speakers, press, vendors. Does anyone believe that there will be 20,000 people at this Expo? Anecdotally, at least, there will be 50% fewer of my friends who will be going to the show. As I've said many times, I want Macworld Expo to succeed. I think it's an important show for the Macintosh community. But I also believe that fundamental changes have to be made. The focus of the show has always been on Apple, the company, not Macintosh, the community. And while Apple may be capricious in its attendance of the show, the community has always supported the show. So for Expo to continue into the future, I think the focus has to be retrained on that community. And remember, the community isn't just mugs and MacMacs. The community includes the media, the vendors, the speakers, the attendees. But it's a two-way street, too. The gatekeeper of IDG must support the community, but the community must also support the show. If both groups work together, there will be many more Macworlds to come. Your Mac Life is at Macworld Expo 2010 thanks to MacSpeech, makers of premier speech recognition software for the Macintosh. You can see a live demo at www.macspeech.com. And 12 South, makers of the Book, a one-of-a-kind hardback leather case designed exclusively for your MacBook and MacBook Pro. Check it out at www.12south.com. We'll have continuing coverage, audio, video, and pictures all next week. You can check us out at www.yourmaclifeshow.com. I've been Sean King. See ya!